answering these questions. I know everybody's really excited to hear them.
Absolutely.
As you know, Asian Pacific Americans are deeply interested in matters of concern to all Americans, such as the future of the war in Iraq, healthcare, education, and the economy. At the same time, there are a host of issues that particularly impact the APA community, such as the Filipino Veterans Equity Bill, which your husband recently supported. Our questions today are about some of these APA-focused issues. The first question comes from Stuart Ikeda, an APAP board member from Milwaukee. Stuart?
Thank you, Curtis, and thank you, Mrs. Edwards, for speaking with us.
Absolutely.
No, with two-thirds of Asian Pacific Americans being immigrants, we are deeply concerned by application backlogs for family sponsorship and reunification, backlogs to H-1B visa applications, undocumented immigration rules, and support for immigrant small business owners. I'd like to ask you how your husband will be a leader in this arena.
John comes from a very small town in North Carolina that has become increasingly Hispanic over the time since he left. And what he says about his hometown is that his family moved there because of the economic opportunities that were provided. And it's exactly the same reason that the immigrant families, who are largely Hispanic, are moving there now. The entire focus of his campaign is making certain that the opportunities that were available to him are available to all Americans and all of those seeking to become Americans. He has consistently supported comprehensive immigration reform. Obviously, we need to secure the borders, but also that provides a reasonable path to citizenship. The family reunification is perhaps the single most compelling argument for him to make certain that we have immigration reform. We have the policies that we have right now that do not give this the priority that it needs to have are enormously important. As for the HB1 visas, we need, of course, to be tapping the expertise of communities outside our borders if we're going to maintain our economic strength. There have been some very large enlargements of the HB1 visa permitted. I apologize. This is something that I've just read about in the New York called chemo brain. Apparently, I'm going to always have trouble in the future trying to find my words. But that after chemotherapy, but that the increase in the HB1 visas needs to also recognize the number of talented people in this country who are capable of doing the same work, but are not currently being courted in the same way. We need to. That the primary goal of John's immigration policy is to make certain that we move the undocumented workers out of in this country out of the shadows. That we have a policy that provides a path to citizenship for those of whom their only violation of the law is a violation of the immigration laws, so that they can pay the penalties associated with that. But then, if they're willing to learn English, they can find a path to citizenship. That does not apply. This largesse does not apply either to employers who are knowingly using undocumented workers, often to their detriment, or to undocumented workers who are otherwise violating the law. He also believes that small businesses are enormously important, and particularly important in our immigrant communities, where we want to make certain that there's economic growth. And John was a member when he was in the Senate of the Small Business Committee, and worked hard to, despite this administration's objections for the, and I'm not going to recall the exact name of this, but it's a small business, works sort of like an extension service. I think it's maybe even called the Small Business Extension Service, to assist small businesses in their development.